Yeah.
Order. Please stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Disclosure of actual or potential conflicts of interest. Communication from the public. I'll wait for that sheet to come around.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You were both. He was gonna be on there anyway.
Sam, did you want to talk, say anything? No, no.
Okay, I have, some communication from the public. I will start with, Jimmy Rizzi. You have 5 minutes.
Actually, do you want to say something? I'm coming to you guys as a parent for students that attend Onward Learning. One of the biggest things, the reason that I sent my children to Onward Learning before I worked there now, but before then, was one of the best parts of my childhood was school. Grew up on a little tiny ranch, didn't do anything, so going to school was my favorite. I went to a little country school, central school. We had 36 kids, I think, at the max. One of the best things about that school was that small class sizes, multi-age learning. We learned from each other a lot. Some of the best teachers, in my opinion, were there. Carrie Laverick, Teresa Rizzi, Becky Keegan. They were all my teachers while I was attending school there. Growing up, I always used to brag, especially when I got to high school, was that I got to finish my math book when I was an 8th grader. I was the only one there. So I didn't have anyone else to influence me and how fast I gotta go. And so I was so proud of that as a student. When I got into high school, I actually got the Algebra 1 award when I got to high school because I got to go ahead. And when I got there, I was tutoring other students. I was doing Sudoku puzzles to keep me busy. And so that was one of the biggest reasons I sent my children to Onward, was just to get that experience, to get that personalized education, and to just give them a chance to spread their wings a little bit more. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Jo, you have 5 minutes.
Do you guys want me to speak now or wait until?
You're on here now.
All right, great.
You have 5 minutes.
Only 5.
Only 5.
So obviously I'm here on behalf of Onward Learning. I'm the founder of Onward Learning. I was a teacher and principal prior to starting school. The whole purpose of starting Onward was for those kids that I taught and I had worked with throughout the years who fell through the cracks, who just didn't fit in the traditional system, and you just felt so helpless working with those kids because you knew that there was genius within them. You just couldn't access it with the tools you're given. So my heart is for those kids. My own child, my oldest, was one of those kids and is one of those kids. And she's dyslexic, just needed something a little different. It's not that it's better, it's just different. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but it has been a life-changing thing for a lot of kids, and honestly a lifeline for some of our kids. So coming to you guys tonight, asking for a partnership. It's obviously, if you look at the MLU, it's obviously financial on one aspect, but to me it's more than that. It shows a community that we are not divided, that we're together, we're working together for kids and the kids in this community. I love what I do. I love this community. This is where I'm from. I'm not going anywhere, and I think it just makes a lot of sense for us to work together on this rather than apart. There are just so many things we can do outside of this agreement, even if we attack it as a team. So as we get going with the agenda and stuff, I'm happy to answer any questions. Please ask. We do have another school district interested in partnering, but I do not want to go there. I want to be here. This is where our kids live. This is where they're going to go to high school. This is where they need to be. So I would much prefer Bennett out.
Thank you. Jason.
I don't need to speak. I just did America.
Sydney. Okay. Nothing here. Gracie, Alan? Okay. Let me get it here. Jason, you want to address hand games? Is that what you're here?
Yeah, I can wait. If that's on the agenda, I can wait until then.
Jesse?
Don't know if I'm familiar with the process. I thought it was a sign-up sheet. Line through my
name. Lonnie, I think you're on the agenda.
Yeah, I didn't know yet. I'm saying, we'll see if I can wait.
Let's map it in there. Scott?
I'll speak. Can I use their time?
Yeah.
All right, I'm here on behalf of the boys basketball team for volunteers. It's coming up. But I had some people ask me why I need volunteers and why so many. So my wife is Emma, and I have Chantel. Jesse's also a volunteer. And they've been in my program for years, and they know how I do things, when I do things, where I do things. Whereas like Jesse and Cole, they aren't up to speed yet, and have practice start December 1st, and our first scrimmage is 6, and then a game on the 11th. Yeah, thank you. That now you know why she's here. But I need to shove like 3 years worth of stuff in a week and a half to 2 weeks. So they already know the program, how we do things, and that's why they're so valuable to me for volunteers. Jesse's going to be hands-on. All I can say is that he's from Martin, so take that for what it's worth. But he seems to be pretty nice. But yeah, I'll use him for hands-on. The other thing was the bus ride for the volunteers, and I've got to have them. That's like cutting my arms off, not having them and not being able to use them. So that's something that I really stand up for, and that's a deal breaker for me. So I'm here for them getting voted on for volunteers, and then also for riding the bus as volunteers with the team.
Thank you. Sounds like everything. Did I miss anybody that would like to speak?
You got more time?
Got 3 minutes. Okay. Additions and deletions to the agenda. Item number 27.2. It has Jay standing there, and it's got district drum group that should be changed to hand games. Right?
Yeah.
That should be hand games. Item number 27.4. Marcy Cradaville is a part-time kitchen help at the high school. And upon the recommendation from our school attorney, item number 32.0, board discussion on entering into MOU with Onward Learning, possible action with recommendation from our attorney that will remove that discussion from the agenda. Okay, any others? Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Motion by Kayla. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dallas. Board discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 22.0, motion to approve consent agenda.
So,
Motion by Dallas. Do I have a second? Second by Ryan. Discussion. Ryan, you had bills, right?
Yep.
Anything there that you need to bring up?
everything looked good.
All right. Sounds good to me. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Administrative and committee reports. I just have a few myself. First of all, I'd like to thank Dallas for inviting the staff back because a week ago I had vascular surgery and I wasn't available on Monday and it wasn't Betty that beat me up. So I appreciate it, Dallas. And from what I hear, Dallas did a good job. I have a thank you here. It's a thank you for the Star Quilt as a retirement gift. Have a great school year, everyone. Carmen. We have that. Also, pass that down. This is an invitation from the county. They are breaking, the county hospital is breaking ground, and they are inviting the school board to show up at that ceremony. The final thing is I have a Three Rivers Co-op meeting on Wednesday, and looking over the agenda and the motion that was designed, built by the school attorney for the co-op. And I'm assuming that somebody is going to make the motion and so forth, dissolve the co-op. But in this motion, it had to be a bunch of stuff in there, the date and everything. It looks like the fiscal year, it would end in June of next year, but we have to carry it over through to September, October for audit and everything else. But it sounds like that the co-op will probably be dissolved. But I'll know more of that on Wednesday. Any questions? Okay, Carol.
Good evening, everyone. So we got to start the year off with all staff in service with Terry Nibblestick visiting with all of us. And his message was, we got him creating student-centered learning. And I've heard positive. I haven't heard anything negative about the good kickoff to the year. Also, staff received a Bennett County sweatshirt, compliments of the district, and that was a big hit. So I think everybody was happy with the first day of in-service. Bradley Leach presented on Tuesday with AI and how we bring that into the classroom so that students are using it. They're going to use it with or without us guiding them, so we prefer to guide them on that. And that's going to be a challenge because it's changing very fast. First day was a success. I think some administration are exhausted and tired from all the busy that's going on with students back in the building, but if you get the chance when kids in the hallway, it's an easy way to make you smile, so that's a good thing. Committees and meetings, the Building and Grounds Committee met for updates on the various projects. As you probably noticed, not everything's open yet. We're frustrated and we're trying to get through a few of the issues that are going on with the different projects and working with the contractors. On August 6th, a turf take demonstration was held at the football field, and I think some others will elaborate a little bit more on that, and that's on the agenda a little bit later. Curriculum and grants, we've applied for the Elevating Literacy Across South Dakota grants application, and Secretary Graves said we should know by the end of August whether we'll receive that. We are working with Julie Matheson on developing curriculum support plans. We're starting with math, but we want to put it in place so as we go through reviewing curriculum, we can use it for all the content areas. So that's exciting work. Facilities and grounds, east side common entrance and landscaping improvements continue. We've got some issues there that we're working on with the contractors. We're very thankful the chillers are back up and running, especially with the heat that's coming again this week. The artificial turf that was approved will be started September 2nd and will take 3 to 4 weeks. So there'll be, busy stuff going around the different places that that's going in. Roofing, if you've been driving by the library and activity center, we're receiving new roofs. I think we're pretty well wrapped up with that. Continuing on that. And if you have been to the AC, you've probably noticed there are no more flickering lights in there. I know that was a reason to get an applause during in-service, so people did really appreciate that. And we're still working on the details for adding that #1 diesel tank for our buses. So had more information on that this morning. I think that will be able to be done before winter. And then really good news is that Aaron is communicating with some of the busing companies. He has a specific bus. He's just going to gather a few more details that maybe we can get for this fall yet that will have air conditioning and will fit in the garage, and then look at something additional down the road. So, any questions?
Thank you, Carol. Carrie.
All right. I don't have real hard, fast attendance data, but I can tell you that we're sitting around 140 plus students right now at the high school, which is a really big number for us. We have a very large freshman class right now. So, but we have a little bit of influx, but we have students that are still trickling in. We have a few students that we're waiting on some, finding out if their transfers or where they're at right now. So, give or take. Our student happenings, so the high school back to school night was very well attended. We had 59 students sign in and 44 parents sign in. We know that a lot of people didn't sign in. 29 of the students were freshmen, and most of them attended the freshman family orientation with their parents, so that was great to see them in there. The seniors and their parents also attended an informational meeting about senior family school communications. And so it's nice to get those families involved in understanding how to communicate with this school right from the start. I want to recognize the whole staff at the high school for all the work they did in preparing for a great start for this year. Our fall sports are underway. We have cheerleading, football, and volleyball going on, and cross country. We held shortened schedules the first 2 days of the school, and kids got to go to all their scheduled classes both days, but we also were able to work in some teaching of warrior pride expectations, a review of the handbook, a build a warrior activity, planning for homecoming, and a kickoff for the rally, or cheerleading rallies for the kickoff of the sports. So it was a very busy first 2 days. Now we're into a full regular week. Our maintenance staff did a fabulous job this summer. I'm just amazed at all the things that they were able to get done. So I really appreciate the maintenance staff that work at the school. Last year, our staff identified the needs for a class that would help students transition, and so this year we're introducing freshman and sophomore seminars to help them fill those needs and to teach some different life skills. They support students in developing college skills, personal life skills, and building strong character. So we're excited to have that going. Our in-service days have a lot of information in a very short time period. So we're interested in getting to see how those will kick off and how we will implement that information. And finally, Deputy Evans is our Bennett County District School Resource Officer. He's been on campus. He's introduced himself to everybody at the school assembly, and he's getting to know our students and staff. So we see him in the hallways and in the classroom. We're happy to have him on staff. Any questions?
Questions?
Oh, yeah, I have one. Were the study halls taken off the schedule?
Yes, so the study halls are off the schedule so that we could make way for the seminar courses. In lieu of that, though, our staff has been working on making sure that they section of their class period so that they do get student work time. And that way the staff member can walk around and assist students if they are in need of that when they're in the classroom. So it's kind of a win-win to be able to have the staff.
Is that kind of a trial run to see how it goes, or is it set? I mean,
This is the set schedule for this year.
for the whole entire year?
Yeah.
So if you have a student that's having trouble, what's the game plan after that?
We're going to be looking at also offering some Friday school opportunities that will just be voluntary. Students can come in and work with staff on assignments. We do have class times set aside each class period. So if the teacher's teaching, they might teach or introduce the concept for the first 15, 20 minutes of class, and then have the students work on the assignment. And the teacher can go around and problem solve the students as they're going. We also offer a working lunch so that students can come in and work with staff on the lunch period. They grab their lunch trays and they come in and work on assignments there as well. We offer before school tutoring. We offer after school tutoring. So we have multiple opportunities. I know that that doesn't fit everybody's schedule, and that's why we try to offer as many opportunities as possible.
The reason for taking them away was what?
They were not being utilized very well. We had a lot of students that were sleeping in class. We had a lot of students that were still having lists of homework that weren't finishing those assignments during their school time. When we looked at the amount that the time that was being used in the study hall to complete assignments, it was less than the amount of time that they were given. I mean, they just were not completing work during the study hall time period.
Were those students monitored by somebody
Yes,
during
they
that
were.
time?
And I was in there frequently, so I often had to wake up students, tell them to get up off the floor, even if the other teacher had already told them that. We would give them their lists so that they knew they had their assignments. We could have them pull it up on their computers. So they just were not completing the work. Any other questions?
Any further discussion? Questions? Thank you, Carrie. Michaela?
We've looked at pretty close to 89 to 91% attendance, with basically just trying to figure out the kids that aren't here, where they're at, and where, if they're going to transfer or not. Some of them will probably trickle in. That's just what happens. We did start our STAR testing today for math. So at the next board meeting, you'll have a lot more information on where that is, and it really helps us get into being able to utilize the new Think First program. That's the supplemental math program, and also what we call Freckle math and Freckle ELA, and that's just a supplemental to be able to work with the students on that. We also added Freckle Science and Social Studies on this year as well, just to give a little bit more meat to what we're teaching. Sports, of course, and we have 2 middle school cheerleaders this year, so that's pretty exciting to have some middle schoolers participating in high school cheerleading. And just asking the kids what they did for the summer. A lot of them camped, fish, and slept in their basement, so that was a lot of what they did. The first day of school was very exciting. Kids were really excited to be back, even though, hey, it's early and it's too hot, but overall it was a really great first couple of days. Another exciting thing that's happening this year is we are implementing middle school JAG, and 8th graders are going to get that this year. And so Miss Thea York is going to be taking those classes on. And the exciting thing about that is she's a JAG graduate. So when she was in high school, she took JAG. So now she's going to be able to teach them. And so she's working close with Mrs. Connect and with our state coordinator to be able to give our 8th graders what they need to see if they're ready, if they need JAG as they move into high school, and if they don't, even then the skills that they're going to get from that are going to be phenomenal. So it's going to be really good skills for them. I forgot to put on there, but there is a region music meeting on Wednesday that Ms. Molinas is required to attend, and that's for the music activities going on through the rest of the year. That's all I have. Questions?
Questions? Thank you, Michaela. Melissa?
The board report that I submitted said 108. That is not true. That's 208 kids in preschool for 5th grade. So We're just down a little bit on enrollment, probably by 10, 12 kids. So we do have kids enrolling in the same as Michaela. Some haven't shown up yet. We just don't know if they're coming or if they're just enrolling somewhere else. Testing data, we're not going to start till tomorrow, so we just are really focusing getting to know our students. But next board meeting, there will be some results. So Think First, we got Think First for grades 3 through 5, and again, it's for math skills. And we've got that worked into the schedule, so everybody has some time to really focus on the skills that they need at their level and challenge them or supplement them out the math skills that they're lacking. We started PBIS again. We've kind of always had it, but we're focusing a little bit more on the tier 1. That means just the whole group is working on these expectations. So how do the kids line up to go in the hallway? How do the kids in the lunch line, how are they going to go through the lunch line? And so we talk a lot about expectations, and when kids do the expectation, then they get rewarded with Pride Bucks. And so we take those kids after they get their Pride Bucks, take them to the Pride Bucks store, and they get to spend their money that way. And that's been really a positive intervention for our kids. They really like that. We're going to continue with Build a Warrior. This coming year, we're going to focus the kids that get nominated for Build a Warrior through our PBIS or through the Pride expectations. That if teachers are teaching these expectations and a teacher notices a kid is doing something outstanding, then that's how they get nominated for the Build a Warrior. And I know I had lots of questions, so I really want to get something posted out there because parents ask, how do my kids get to be Warrior of the Week? And how do my kids earn Pride Bucks? And so there will be more information coming out that I'll share with families and online. Another program was Mystery Science. It's really user-friendly for the teachers. The teachers have started making projects already, and a 4th grade teacher already is starting to do like mechanical hands and just building really neat stuff. We worked really hard to get a supply room and get all those things ready for them. So when they get ready to teach the lesson, they just have to go to one place, gather their materials, teach it. So Mystery Science was a big hit with our kids. They really liked that for what little bit we got to do. We hosted the back to school in-service on Monday and Tuesday. Our lights were great. Our sound was great. So we're going to step up our game and probably order a screen so we can see a little better. Right now we're projecting it on like the cement wall. So we're going to get a screen and we're getting some tablecloths and kind of step up our game a little bit. So still working on some schedules. We're just finding where our needs are. And some of our staff has like half-hour chunks here and there. So we're trying to get those to utilize our staff the best way that we can to help support our kids. So we're still kind of working on our schedules, getting the support that the teachers need. We have 5th grade students who are going to volunteer to help raise the flag each morning. We did it last year, and I think it's just a great opportunity that our kids get to learn about the flag and raising it and taking proper care of it. So I'll probably be posting some things like that on the website about the flag raising and how important it is for our kids to know those skills.
Questions? Thank you, Melissa. Amy?
They pretty much covered everything, so the only thing I do want to talk about is the title documents that I have. So we do the app, it's due June 30th. That's the application for title. And then October 1st, I have to have all the supporting documents that go with it, and that gets uploaded into Craig. So I'll be counting some people for some things. There's certain requirements that they ask us to do. And I see on the agenda that the price for adult lunch went up from $5 to $5.25. We have no control over that. They basically tell us that there's a wonderful algorithm that determines that. And, I could dig it up and show you, but they pretty much tell us you don't have enough for you. And so we have, if you would like to see how that looks. Other than that, we do have a library board meeting. Are you still on? Perfect. On the 27th at 1. Any questions?
Questions? Thank you, Amy. Minnie?
Mine is pretty short and sweet. I've been working with the coaches on some expectations, what I expect of them. Everything's new to everybody this year. I've been told that a lot, so I'm just trying to do the simplest the better. I know communication has been a big thing with parents, with coaches, everybody across the board. And our first step with good communication is getting the coaches to communicate with me. And so that's been kind of a learning curve. We're going to have a parent meeting, we're going to let you know, things like that. That way we can get everything updated. And because we all know how well kids go home and tell their parents. Like, well, I told them at practice, yeah, well, you know, or I sent a note home, well, that's in the bottom of the locker and nobody knows. Or, you know, sometimes kids don't see their parents. So if a parent can get an update on the website or on the Bennett County app or on the Sports U app, it's a lot better. But I have to know those things in order to get them on the website. So we're working through a few things like that. Practice plans, the calendar of practices, things like that are sending to me. I've asked if they send them all to me. Any scheduling changes, things like that are just out of the normal flow of practice schedules and things. They just tell me that way. We know if we plan a scrimmage or if we are gonna do a early Saturday morning practice, which is outside of the Monday through Thursday type thing. Just let me know. That way, if I have a parent grab me in the grocery store and, you know, say, hey, why did, you know, so-and-so get to do this? I just know. But, you know, more so to protect everybody else. And so communication is huge. So I'm really pushing that with all the coaches this year. Our volunteers, we have quite a few volunteers want to come on board and help, which is great. I'm working on some expectations for our volunteers as well. I feel like as if they are going to get to ride the buses and go through the background check and do everything that they have to do, we also need to set some expectations for them as well. That you know, if you're going to be on the bus, we ask, you know, maybe these are the things we ask of them and things like that for the kids. But practices have began. Middle school football, middle school volleyball, high school volleyball, high school football. The first football game is this Friday in Jones County at 6 o'clock. We have volleyball next week in Valentine. We have cross country in winter. We have high school volleyball in Wald. I mean, it's just going to start coming and going super fast. Our cheerleaders are traveling this year. So Danielle will be taking them, which is a good addition. They've never really gotten to do that before, so she's jumped on board and been willing to do that. Cross country has 7 kids out, 6-12, which I think is a big number for in the past. I got to, Erin will tell you a lot more, but I got to go down and watch the turf tank work for a little while on the field and how it lined everything up. It painted the outline of the field and used its GPS system, much like a tractor in a field would. And painted the whole outline of our field in 11 minutes. It was crazy to watch work. It was cool. I've been working with Bound. I know scheduling and time-wise has been a kind of a mess last year, but if any of you have ever worked in the Bound system that South Dakota High School Athletic Association makes the athletic directors use, or if you're familiar with it, it's kind of a nightmare. It's kind of a scheduling nightmare. So I can go in and put our time in, and then Walt can go in and put their time in. But I might have put in the first game of the night. Walt might have put in only the varsity game only. Lyman might have put in their time and not put CT or MT beside it. So I'm working through trying to email all of the athletic directors from all the other schools and verify times. So I am trying really hard to make sure we're all lined up and everything is aligning, but just know that it might be a little rough for a little while till I get everything all fixed up. It's hard for me. It's been really hard for me to figure out where I can put everything so everybody who needs to know sees it. So Aaron sees it, so Carol sees it, so Michaela sees it, so Carrie sees it, so every coach sees it, so where could I put everything so I don't have to update the towards you at a Google Doc, the calendar, this, that, text, and have everybody know that the game is an hour earlier. And it's supposed to start now. So I'm working through all that stuff too, but it's all good. I have a lot of people helping me, a lot of people on my side, so all should be good. I'm excited to be going.
Questions? Thank you. Joe. Another thing. All right. Item number 24.0, Lonnie with youth football.
I'm just coming to see if we can use the field again this year. Last year I thought it went pretty good. I'm not sure how we got to swing it, but if you guys could somehow sponsor it for $0. We're not asking. All we really need is just you guys to sponsor it or whatever and be able to use it. I thought last year we did a great job cleaning it up and taking all the trash out and everything. We did look into getting insurance of our own through USA Football, and I don't think it's the right fit for us at this point, and mainly because they require a lot of testing from students and whatnot, and I think we would shy kids away rather than help them. I know Lainey had brought up on her coaches meeting that working together with the head coaches, working together with Little Warrior program, and I coach wrestling. Thanks for work with the AU, as most of you know, but I think this is something that we could do too. So I know our head coach is for football is interested in helping the youth football too, or starting to introduce some of the same offenses and defenses, and that way we're all on the same page. So I think it could really be a good partnership. And like I said, we're not asking for any money. We do our own fundraising and have when we got started. We're just asking for one, if we don't need to go that far this year, that's fine. But if we could at least use the field. I don't have dates yet. They're still working on the schedule, but they should be here soon. But it will be 2 Saturdays between the second week of September to the end of October. So somewhere in there.
Now the use of the field, you're talking about games.
Yes, the games. Practice, we're practicing down the softball field, not Plum Pine. The city's letting us do that, so that works out good for us.
Do we have any questions for Bobby?
How many kids do you have signed up this year?
So we had 17 flag football kids, which is first and second. And I'm not 100% sure on the third and fourth, fifth and sixth. I only know that because Missy did something Google Sheets over before I got here. So, but we have. I think it'll probably be roughly around 40 to 50, I would imagine. And then hopefully some of those 6th grade kids, when they don't have games for middle school, will come down and play again. So that was pretty nice.
We would need a motion to allow them to use the field for games here.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we got a motion by Dallas to allow the youth football to use our field for games. Second by Ryan. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I need a motion, item number 25.0. I need a motion to amend the adult lunch prices from $5 to $5.25 for the 2025-2026 school year. Motion by Dallas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ryan. Board discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 26.0. Motion to approve the following surplus. 1 computer, MGSO. 1 iMac, MGSO. 8 MacBook Air, BCHS old. 6 MacBook Air, middle school, old. Motion by Kayla. Do I have a second? Second by Abby. Board discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 27.0. Motion to approve the following new hires for the 25-26 school year. Erica Rivers, BCHS Junior Class Advisor. Jay Standing Bear, Hand Games. Casey Whiteface, Paraprofessional, 18.75 per hour. And Marcy Cradaville, part-time kitchen help at the high school. Motion by Kayla. Second? Second by Brian. Board discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 28.0, motion to approve the following volunteers. Emma Kuhn of boys basketball, Chantel Roseberry, boys basketball, Jesse Byerly, boys basketball, Vera O'Neill, volleyball. Motion by Kaylee. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Dallas. Board discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 29.0. Motion to approve the resignation of Duke One BCHS girls basketball assistant coach. Dallas. Motion by Dallas. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Ryan. Board discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 30.0. Motion to approve volunteers riding BCSD transportation. Motion by Kayla. Do I have a second? Second by Abby. Board discussion.
My only concern with it is making sure if for some reason they have to take a smaller bus because we have buses going everywhere, that if there wouldn't be room for a volunteer to ride, then maybe there can be an exception for one game. You get what I'm saying? Or the students, you know, we need to have room for the students to get there, students first. But I think most times that shouldn't ever be an issue.
Would just a question, that's all I have. Would for example, let's say we are taking small vans. Would the volunteer coach be able to drive one of those vans?
Probably not unless they're set up, you know, under our insurance.
I mean, I just, you know, because I can see a coach saying, well, wait a minute, I got this volunteer and they're riding the bus. Well, why can't they just drive the van? And I'm not basically talking about basketball because we're big enough there. I'm talking about the smaller sports like golf and track, or not track, but cross country or something like that.
I know that in the past, I've coached for 17 years, and as long as your volunteers bring valid driver's licenses in and submit to the insurance companies, I've never had a volunteer drive, but that was always the legality for volunteers to drive a van if you ever need them to.
Just question, I don't know if we run into something like that. Right.
We have ran into that wrestling. I remember when I volunteered, for whatever reason, one of the coaches, and I did drive. I know Brent has done that as well, but it's never been brought up till this year. So, I don't know, I would be, I mean, I would be wise to look into that, but, I mean, because in wrestling it does happen, but, I mean,
Well, like I said, you're smaller numbers.
Right. Sometimes you have to take, well, Aaron knows more than anybody, but sometimes you gotta take, 2 Suburbans because we don't have anything else or whatever, but.
So that could be something looked into, and then with the AD saying to your volunteers, we're just not gonna let our volunteers drive, or we can, or whatever. I mean, I don't.
Insurance liability question.
Because what we're voting on here is to ride, but I can see coming through the back door, well, wait a minute, we got to take off here, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know, okay, we got this volunteer, we're gonna let him drive. Don't want to get involved in that. But with the motion that we've got here is that they're to ride.
Well, I think it helps with the bus drivers too. A lot of times you can't get a bus driver. And, if we could, technically there'd be another bus driver, pretty cheap one too. And, be able to help out the school a little bit. So.
But our motion, the motion that we have here is that to ride, is what we're doing. Is that correct? Is that my understanding? Any further discussion?
We'll find out about them driving the school vehicle? Or we're just gonna leave it as ride only? We're not gonna ride the drive.
Check right.
They're not to drive? Right. You're gonna.
That's what this motion is to ride only for now. I can see.
Well, I think in the past it's been, a real gray area, and I know there's volunteers across the board that are driven. So I think that just needs to be clarified.
I think it's worth checking.
Yeah, right.
Well, right.
I do.
But I'm just.
Small enough and have enough good people that are willing to volunteer. Definitely.
My point is, that's not part of the motion that we're making here at this time. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, board discussion on turf tech with possible action.
I haven't actually copied the paperwork. Have you guys all seen?
Yeah, they all have.
So I wasn't in the original, when they contacted the school, they contacted Brady to come out and demonstrate this, but I was there for it. Came out, the minimal amount of work, programmed GPS into this turf tank, and like Wayne said, let it go do the outline of the football field, which took roughly 10 minutes, which usually takes the better part of the day just to get the outline done when you're doing it the way we do it now. The amount of paint that this uses compared to what we're doing now is minimal. I think I don't know about all the pricing and stuff. I looked through this a little bit, but I think it's comparable to what we're spending now for either your labor and your paint input. There is a paint allowance in that price too, so you shouldn't be buying a whole lot of extra paint unless you want to do the colors. I think we do end zone purple or something like that. But it's the straightness of it. I mean, it's a professional job when it's done. I was pretty impressed with it. I'm not real big in tech, but I had to say wow when it was over there. So.
Any wobble or anything,
Not like with the way we do it now, it gets crooked because, you're just such a short wheelbase and you have black grass bump, but there's a little bit, you can actually slow it down, make it go slower if your football feels too rough. But it impressed me how straight it was. I mean, you didn't see any of that, what we're used to, like a safe football field.
and with this, how many times a year would a guy have to do it?
Well, so right now, once we paint football field, we gotta keep up with it every week because you can't go back, we don't have enough time, you can't lose your minds. And this you could let go. I think our first game is coming up now, it's 3 weeks before the next home game. I mean, this thing will go back right where you tell it to and start over. I mean, cents to your paint after that first time if you wanted to let it go. It has an option, which I like, because the grass takes paint a little bit different depending on where you're at with the dryness, but it'll, you can said, I mean, it'll paint exactly over itself if you want to darken your lines, and that's kind of hard for us to do with the, because every time you paint it, you get a little bit more crooked. It's pretty impressive.
Does it paint characters?
I know it does all the numbers. You can have logos and it paints all that. I had to disappear from the meeting just a second, so I wasn't there for what all he said the options were.
It will, depending on what options you have, you know, like he talked about, the spots, you know, along the new, you know, the spots that people can buy to park, you know, you can sell them to a business and use it as a fundraising type stuff with their logo up there. You can take that up there and scan a logo and put like, Dakota Mart or Bros on that spot, and that's their spot for the football season. And, you know, their business would sponsor them, whoever. And essentially, he said he's had schools that have chosen to purchase the bigger one who have paid for it that way, by selling their sponsorships, by painting their logos of businesses and things like that. And, but it's all, I mean, if you want something as simple as just painting the lines, then you would, you know, the logos and stuff are a lot, you go up in price, you know, for every logo you do. I think it's like the BC in the middle of the field, the purple and gold. I think that would come with, I believe that. Yeah, the lower end one, but you know, painting anything else, you would have to get the higher. But like, you could take it out in our parking lots and put one of the little GPS pegs in the dirt and have it paint all your parking lot lines every year. You could, anywhere you wanted it to go, it would go. And once it paints it, like now they're all painted and they're fresh, but like at the beginning of the year when they're all gone, you could have it just outline it and then have it go in there and paint all your lines, and then it would save it. So then next year you just sell it, paint the grade school parking lot or paint the AC parking lot, it would buzz out there and paint it for you. So there's lots of uses for it, but besides just the football field as well. And they're similar to a power washer. The heads on it are similar to a power washer depending on their how straight you want it, how small and narrow and wide. That's all they are, just the little power washer heads. So they're really interchangeable and easy to replace. But it does need a little maintenance. But I think the maintenance comes with your purchase.
It'll depend on what you go with.
Yeah.
Mostly just clean it, and other than that, just want to wear it.
Yeah.
Questions, board? We had 3 recommendations there. What are you recommending?
I personally think the middle one would be a better fit for us. There's a question I would have on that because of the parking lot painting, or the program to do that is not listed on that one, which I would think somehow they'd be able to put that on. That's what, you know, because if we're going to get it, I think we want to use it for both. But other than that, I think we're just not quite able for the more expensive one.
That would be number 2.
This one. Or second page. So it'd be 12,700.
That's it.
That's the medium one, the middle one.
It's actually been a year that first time we got there, so.
Oh, sure.
1,700.
That fee's a one-time deal, right?
The setup fee is, that 11 a year.
Yep.
Okay. But it all, the way I understand it, and I wasn't there for that part of the meeting that we had, but from reading this, it's, if we want to have a year and don't like it, we can turn it back, or 2 years, 3 years, whatever it may be. Or if you bought it outright, they didn't get a price on outright. I'm sure it's our 50, 60,000, just put it online. Then you're stuck with it. But by paying a yearly too, as the updates come out, then we can turn this one back and get a lot past this technology change.
It's, I believe it's 30 years. If you do the pro one, I believe it's 30 years, and $16,000 a year for 3 years. And then with that one, it's like a lease situation. You would lease it, and then if they have an upgrade available at the end of the 3 years, you get the upgrade. Your old machine. You get the upgrade and you get all the other equipment at the end of the 3rd year, which that would be $16,000 a year. So you have to look at how much you're really going to use it for that. But the other one, I believe, would be 11,000 for those years.
That's for the option one.
Yeah.
The
plus, yeah, the plus, the Turkey 2 plus or whatever.
Oh, do you need it? Further discussion? Answer your questions?
How big is the machine?
It's not very big. It's, I mean, it's my biggest. In the back, I think it's easy.
Oh, easy. He had ramps and like let down the other of his fingerprints or it out of his ramp. Off the ramps like a little, it's like a lawnmower without the handle. Just a little tiny, probably too far off the ground.
Further discussion? Anybody interested in, any possible action? And I would need a motion then.
Yes, make a motion to, purchase turf tank. Option two.
Two. Motion by Kayla, second by Abby. Purchase option number 2.
Yep, I got it right here.
Board discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 33.0. This motion to move the school board meeting is because everybody's gonna be gone. So I need a motion to move the September board meeting from September 15th to September 10th at 5 p.m. in the library community room. Motion by Dallas. Do I have a second? Second by Ryan. Board discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 34.0, I need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Kayla, second by Dallas. Board discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. 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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are in adjournment. Thank you, people.